from infrastructure upgrades and intervention by various government agencies, including members of parliaments and councillors. It would therefore be hypocritical for us as leaders not to formulate a workable strategy to formally enable long-standing occupiers to acquire these properties that they have possessed for decades.
Mr. Lothan Cousins' idea about the crown lands, and he has a good idea, I will say, and being very objective in terms of wanting to reduce the tenure that you have to wait before you can acquire these lands. He wants to remove it from 60 years to 25 years. I said, okay, no problem with that. Here's my issue though, and I would disagree with Cliff on Nationwide when he said it was a freeness. I think it's all a part of freeness, however, and let me tell you why. You see, squatters live in, how would I put it? Whenever areas are too full, let's take Kingston for an example. Kingston is one of the most populous areas in this country, the most dense areas in this country. It pack up, right? Portmore was supposed to ease that situation a bit, but Portmore only get full. So squatters now, these are the people that are going to go to you could say unsafe locations or illegal locations to live and to reside, based on the fact that, as said before, the entire city or the town or whatever it may be is full, right? So I'm bringing Cape Geography into this now. You know, decide that, all right, place full. Let me set up a residence near a gully, at the side of a gully, right? Or let me set up my residence near the edge of the city, just before you're going out of the city, right? Now, that is what is known as urban sprawl. But what is urban sprawl? Urban sprawl comes from urbanization. So urbanization now is what you would call the rapid development of infrastructure and buildings within a place or a location, essentially, right? Urbanization now is where you have a city, you have an area, not a city, but you have an area, and you are rapidly developing it, putting buildings, putting more infrastructure, putting more amenities, like your government agencies, your bathrooms, your police station, schools, those places, right? So you create an area, essentially. So when you're doing urbanization, or when you're urbanizing an area, well, essentially that is what you're doing, urbanizing an area. Urban sprawl now is where, due to the rapid urbanization that has taken place, and as now the space in the city kind of no more space not exists. I like I think Bob Marley song, or I don't remember which artist. I hope it's Bob Marley, but the person who sing Concrete Jungle, right? When the place pack up and everything tight, right? So urban sprawl now occurs due to that rapid and mass urbanization, where persons live along the edge of the city or in areas that are untenable for development. Yes? So someone decides to live right beside a gully. Someone decides to live on the side of a hill, right? And these people have to live here because they have no better options, right? Because let's take into perspective, your family lives here, right? Your family live in Kingston. You don't want to leave your family. There are various opportunities that you have in Kingston, right? So you know all of Kingston. Okay? If you leave Kingston now, all of those opportunities that you could have had, you're not really gonna find them elsewhere. Say in Portmore or Mobile or anywhere, or Moran Bay that is currently being developed, right? Among other reasons too, right? So, we have all of these people in these areas. Are we then saying that we're going to just allow them to live upon lands that we know are either illegal or untenable and not safe for them? Let me give you an example. when Juliette Holmes was touring her constituency, I remember, I think it was before 2020 election, she was touring the place, or long before 2020 elections, but after 2016, and she was flagging a few of the houses in the area, say, you can't live here, you can't live on this terrain because if rainfall and landslide come, your house go wash away. If earthquake come and the ground underneath is not tenable, the soil is not sticking together like how it should, or the soil is loose, then your house is going to basically topple over, right? So Juliet Holness being the MP she is and being the contractor she is, she said, alright, y'all can't live here. That's number one. Cause if we no house broke down in a natural disaster, I hate that. No, persons were hesitant about moving. And that is fear. Because this is where you have lived for years. This is where all your items are. There is a comfortability that comes with living in your home. Right?
Tari, just add something to what you're saying there. Just add something to it. This issue of people living in unsafe areas, I am going to place it at the feet of Michael Manley. And I don't want you to say, okay, it's because I'm partisan. No, just hear me out.
No, ma'am.
A lot of the urbanization that you speak about, and people living in unsafe areas was caused by Michael Manley. Let me show you what happened. Remember, yes, the population of Kingston has been going up, but a lot of the areas that people ended up living, and Michael Manley actually gave the permission to live there. Those places were not occupied before. Let me give you an example. Kintyre. Kintyre in the 1960s, the LP government at the time deemed those areas to be unsafe. You cannot live there because of you talk about the soil being unstable. Michael Manley came and gave them right to live there. Another one is Helsha. Helsha Beach. He went to Helsha Beach, and instead of setting up a formal development plan, let's say under UDC, he gave the land to the fishermen at Helsha Beach.
Yeah.
So Helsha is unplanned. Chaka, all of us who have been there know it. Chaka, no facilities. It would have been better if it was done on the UDC. But Michael Manley just went give it to them just to be popular and for people to like him instead of thinking the thing through properly. And I'm saying those are just two examples. No proper planning. Those are just two examples. There are other areas that people were just allowed to live. And I want you guys to understand this. In the 1960s, the so-called gully government of the JLP trained the gully courses that are in the city of Kingston. All of you have gone through Kingston, see the cut stone work, very lovely cut stone work in the gullies. And all of that was built by the JLP in the 50s and the 60s. And they were called the gully government at the time. People have moved, and all of it is not directly the PNP fault, but people were not taken off and not proper land. It is what happened is that they built the cut stone wall in the 50s, 60s and backfill it with sand. So backfilled with sand. So people come born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, come up see it and say, oh, this is proper land. But it is not. And many of the cut stone walls are actually deteriorating now. And there have been cases, unfortunately. I remember a few years back, this entire family, Squitty, this entire family got washed away. One big rain fell, the water came and took away the wall, and the house that they had, concrete structure and squitty that they had on the gully bank, the whole thing collapsed into the river or into the gully and washed them away.
Yeah.
So the point that Harry is making is a moot point. It's a very important point.
But make Tari finish in
Yeah,
the...
go ahead. I just wanted to add that to what you were saying, Tari. Sorry.
Yeah, man.
Yes, George, and I am actually glad that you put that into perspective, and created inside there, right? And the reality is simply this: we can't allow people to live on lands that are unsafe and untenable, because when them up brought down, those people are going to be the same people to turn to the government, to look towards the system and say, why didn't the system tell me sooner? Why didn't the system allow me to do something sooner? Why didn't the system ensure such and such? You understand? Because everything is going to line up back to you, whether you are the housing minister or just the government. So we have to ensure that soon. I like the proposal that it has. What I disagree with, however, is if you think that you're going to allow people who live on these unsafe lands after the 25 years, they're going to say the system failed them. No, we're not allowing that. We're not going to allow that. Because the reality is, we have always been the government that care about the people. People must have proper housing. People must live under proper housing conditions. People must have proper place to live. But I will say this: for all who said that they don't want a house, they don't want any house from the Prime Minister, and they don't want any house from JLP because they miss PMP, and them now want no development, and they want to stay tunnel visioned. Understand this. In Old Testament times, and I love drawing from my Old Testament as an Adventist. In Old Testament times, I know there are many people who say that God in the Old Testament times was unfair. But God was never unfair in the Old Testament times. You know why I say that? When God was giving the warning to Sodom and Gomorrah, God sent him angel them, him send Lot, him send whoever him need for send, give them warning multiple times. Say, let us do this, let us do that, turn to God, do whatever God. If you do that, you know the city will get destroyed. And you know, Sodom and Gomorrah was one of the most wicked places in the Bible. The people hardened their hearts and they decided not to change. So, as it was for Lot and his family, when Christ told Lot to run out of that place and don't look back, although Lot wife look back and turn in our pillar of salt stills, as it was for Lot and everybody else decided to run, we will run with the prosperity train and get the development. But if you want to stay back and stay in the state that you are in, you don't want upward social mobility, there's only so much and no more that a prime minister and an MP can do. No, may I go full unleash on the PNP tonight. There is only so much that the government can do. And Prime Minister Dr. Holness put it in a nice way. The government is not here to give you things. Government is not a Santa Claus. You don't get gift and command. Like no work so. It takes cash to care. Things cost money. We're not there for give you things. But understand this, we will create conditions necessary so that you can appreciate the programs that are in place and continue to appreciate the value that you can receive for your money. Simple. So, I urge, if the PMP is listening, I urge the People's National Party, come out of this mindset that because you're a PMP, you're not going to accept nothing from the government. It reminds me of the lady from Sterling Castle. You see, the Prime Minister shake her hand And the lady have her hands behind her and I shake her head and I say, yes, sir, yes, sir. Now shake him, man. And I say to myself, so, not 41 or 40 odd years in Stirling Castle, which is in Northwest St. Catherine, by the way, which has had a PNP MP for a good amount of years. I can't recall the last time that place turned Labour, except for 1983 when the PNP decided to not contest that election. PNP MP for 40 odd years. Hugh Graham has been there from 2020 to now, and Hugh Graham has been such a disservice and a disappointment and an injustice to what representational politics should be. And you're going to tell me that when the Prime Minister comes, only now you're going to have a water problem? And no disrespect to that lady. No disrespect. But seriously? Seriously?